Hello, everybody. Back with my sister Darlene.
We're back. It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Been a minute.
Yeah, yeah. But I wanted to ask her this question about overspraying fragrances because I know for me as a fragrance enthusiast, I gave my opinion on how I feel when other people do it. For myself, I don't really overspray unless it's a weak performing fragrance. But for somebody like Darlene, who's going to be the type of person you actually run into on the street, when you can tell someone's oversprayed their fragrance, is it like attractive to you? Is it like a head turning thing of like, ooh, this person smells really good, and like, does it grab your attention in a good way or what?
It depends.
Okay.
I think you can get away with overspraying with fresh and clean fragrances because that's not, to me, it's not as nauseating. And I'm not somebody, or I am somebody that gets headaches from like specific fragrances. For example, she knows this. I've told her the story a dozen times. When we both got our tattoos, there was this girl at this parlor. It was a hot day, maybe like 70 degrees out.
A little bit more warmer than that.
It was a hot,
but it was a small parlor.
And it was a small parlor, right? Yeah. And she kept walking back and forth, and she obviously had a fragrance on that was way oversprayed, and it was like this, what did you think it was? Flower Bomb?
It was Flower Bomb by Victor and Rolf.
And it had this like sickeningly sweet like smell, and it made me nauseous. I could tell she oversprayed, and I low-key kind of got mad. I was like, this is not, I don't want this to be part of my experience of like getting a headache while getting like, anyways. So I can tell when people have oversprayed really sweet fragrances. And I'm not a big fan of that. Like, it made me understand why people in the office are like, no fragrances are allowed, because you're always going to have that one person that's like, I really like the smell of this, I think everybody's going to enjoy it on me, and overspray. And obviously, like, if I were to sit next to that girl in an office building, I'd be so mad. I'd be really mad. I'd be like, I'm gonna work from home, or I need to.
I feel that. For me, like, if it's like, when we talked about this before, like if it's clubbing and it's something where you're going out and like everyone's gonna be wearing a scent and overspraying it, sure, because your nose is acclimated to that. But if it's warm outside, and to some people 75 isn't warm, but like when the sun is coming down on you and you've got a really sweet scent on that you have oversprayed, to other people around you, it can come across as head turning in a bad way, in like a kind of like, oh my, like, you know, that person, you know, like. And
I'd never had a bad experience with overspraying until that girl, and because I could tell that she was like, it was a lot to wear, especially, I don't know, that's why I say when it comes to fresh and clean fragrances, for the most part, like, they're not as strong performing, so it's like okay to overspray it, but when it comes to like the really sweet ones, I don't know if you like, for example, Black Opium, if it's not like raining and snowing out, I like that thing. I would probably personally, as somebody who gets nauseated quickly with really sweet things, I would probably only spray like 3 of that. But for other people, like just overspraying something sweet, I can tell, and I personally don't like it.
And on top of that, like, so we went out yesterday, and then Keegs was with us, her boyfriend was with us, and he was wearing Prada Black on a warm day, and like I overheard her saying that she was like, that's a bit like too much for the weather and stuff. I don't even think he oversprayed it, but it was just like in terms of like being a hot day and wearing a sweet date night sort of scent, that even though like you love it on him, in that instance it was like you want something that's a bit fresh, or something that's not going to be too heavy on a hot day, you know?
I think that's another topic too, is like, I can tell when you're overspraying, but it wasn't until, I don't know how long you've been doing this for, but in the beginning, I didn't understand what cloying meant, which, can you explain that?
It's just kind of like, well, to me, it's like when things just become like sickeningly sweet, where like everything you described about kind of like getting nauseous with a scent, and it irritates you. You know? Yeah.
So I didn't really understand it because my nose is weak compared to her nose. You're good. But yeah, when I specifically that day, because I think it was like one of the first hot days, because it's spring now, people were still using their colder weather fragrances, and it just was not, like, it was giving me a headache.
But that's why I like having your opinion on here, because for me, like, there's a lot of things I can tolerate now because I've smelled different things and I've experienced all that. But with somebody like Darlene that doesn't really smell a lot of fragrances on a day-to-day basis, like that's the type of nose you're gonna encounter. So please don't think like spraying 20 sprays of your oud is gonna be amazing because you want everybody to smell you. You know, there's like still a way to smell good, but be considerate of other people, because it doesn't come across as attractive when it's like way overdone and overkill. You know, at least for me, like it repels me. Even if the scent is nice, if it's too much going on, like it's not, I don't really, I leave because it's just a bit.
You can tell.
Yeah.
Like I could tell that either, I don't know if she was doing it for herself. Maybe she was. She just really liked the smell. But like, just as somebody who was in the same room with her, I had to step out and get like a breath of fresh air because I was starting to get a headache. And
I will say
I was getting irritated.
No, even for me, like I did smell it, but then the constant back and forth of it, I was like, okay, yeah. So I always say, of course, wear what you want to wear, but I think that if you can kind of gauge, like when you see if it's warm out that day, then just throwing on a fresh fragrance. If you just the kind of guideline and help direct what sort of scent you should reach for based on the weather of the day. And because something like that has that kind of strength, especially in a small space where like some people might be sweaty and it's hot,
and then it starts mixing,
it mixes with the
like, ooh, please take me outside.
But we appreciate your opinion always, Dar.
Of course, I'm here.
Love having her on here. Love having her on here.
All right, so long.
I'm gonna put her links, like her Instagram and her TikTok or her YouTube, all that sort of stuff in the description. So go follow her on all that, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.